Welcome back, our viewers in Sharing is Caring. We have now our guest, Dr. Nasser Aloud, professor in clinical social work at Imam University and Family Service. Welcome, Dr. Nasser. I'm happy to be with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing this very important issue in our society. Alhamdulillah, I guess we have a Islamic society that cares for everyone, and today we are speaking about the kids that's in divorce situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think there has been an increase in divorce rate in Saudi Arabia, although there is also a number of encouraging statistics that show that the divorce rate in Saudi Arabia has been declined in the past 4 years. It used to be 26.80. Last study that I did, I found it to be 23.29, which is like 3-point differences.
Mm-hmm.
Although any divorce situation includes kids, of course, normally actually, because we are the birth rate of kids in Saudi Arabia is high, so we expect that any divorce situation will have those kids to be affected by psychological, emotional, and economical situation. So this is, I guess, is very important to be discussed in this excellent programs. We need those people who are visiting us from different countries, who are working in this country, to know that, alhamdulillah, we have several organizations that's caring for those kids, from orphan to any other kids. Those charitable organizations are funded by the government and funded by the people of Saudi Arabia, has up-to-date programs run by Saudi individuals, female and female. So this is, I guess, is very important to be discussed in the Saudi Channel 2, and alhamdulillah, we select this topic in order to just discuss what's happening for those kids and how they deal with their
As
issue.
you know, Dr. Nasser, we speak today about the effect of divorce on our children and how to manage the relationship between the parents and the family, the community, and the kids. From your point of view, is the divorce harmful towards our children? Not.
Of course, yes. According to studies and statistics and what we see as social workers and psychologists and psychiatrists, all the people who are dealing with those divorce issue are, 100% know there's any situation will be influence on those kids.
Mm-hmm.
The younger the kids, the more difficult is the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Psychoanalysis, which is founded by Freud, has explained this very explicitly, which is found that any children under the age of 6 will be influenced by any harmful situation, and those situations will be affecting these individuals in the year later. So, for example, you expect someone who has just get in marriage at the age of 26, and you find this guy is not really well connected to his wife. Mm-hmm. And what psychoanalysis did, another theory, that they explained that this guy may not pass very successfully in the year from 2 to 6. So he may be had influenced by some of the situation that he found, and that situation embedded in his psycho unconsciousness. And by the age of 26, they just reply back, and this is what affects individuals normally. This is like one theory, but what I'm sure that any individuals who just watching us right now, who doesn't know anything about psychology or social work, know the situation of divorce is really hard on individuals who really in the situation, as well as on their kids who are raising in those kids on this house. But by and large, in our society, although we are very connected to our family, we have extended family, which is consists of my father, grandfather. It's still difficult on those kids, and mainly where they compare themselves to normal kids in their school. So, of course, there is psychological, emotional, economical, even life change in the situation. And the more difficult the problems, the more hard the situation, where those go to the court, for example, which is I'm working right now with other organization such as Mawadda, another organization. Mawadda, by the way, is very influenced charitable organization that's working to limit the divorce rate in Saudi Arabia, to work with those families who are in situation of divorce, and also to look for the children of divorced couples. So this organization and other organization are working hard to lessen the situation on those kids. So I think it's very important to discuss the influence on those kids.
Dr. Nasser, we speak about the divorce and its effect on our children. From your point of view, how we can know the percent, especially, I want to ask at first, what is the percent of the divorce in Saudi Arabia?
Last statistic that we did in the Ministry of Justice, we found it is 23.29, including the big cities, Riyadh, Jeddah, Dammam. Out of 226 couples who get married last year, around 260,000.
Oh my
so, for example, we found the marriage contract. We reach around 125, I guess. So it's any marriage contract, of course, consists of female and male.
Of course.
So out of those, we found around 23.29 of them are getting divorced, which is like 28,000 something, which is still. So 28,000, you expect how many kids in those? Yeah. So at least 80,000 kids been influenced every year by the divorce situation. So with those kids, unfortunately, although we have social affairs, the Ministry of Social Affairs, the Ministry of Justice, the Ministry of Education are working to work the situation out, or to prevent those situations that's come for those kids. It's still not enough. There is need to be more effort from the community.
I want to ask you about how we can need and what we want to need, especially you are professor in social work and family service, how we can support the family that it will be nearly or close to be divorced, how we can support them, how we can prevent divorce, and how we can give them the pushment that you have to complete your life with your children.
Very interesting question, and also it's a huge question. So to prevent divorce, of course, you have to know the fact that divorce is a fact of life. So statistics shows, for example, in the United States, in UK, where those individuals know each other before the marriage, they almost do anything before the marriage. They live like a couples. They live like married individuals. The divorce rate reach 40%, 45%, even sometimes 50%. So you would expect that even they know each other before, when they sign the contract, it's different situation. In our Arab community, we found in Egypt, for example, 35, in Kuwait 40, in Qatar 31, in UAE 29. Alhamdulillah, I guess in Saudi Arabia we reached the 23.29. I guess it's still an encouraging number. But still, there is a family is being separated. There is a kids will be influenced. There is individuals will be affected by the situation. So when we thought about this, the Ministry of Justice, which I represent in these programs, because I'm working as a top advisor for the Minister of Justice, we had really a huge program that's really been, alhamdulillah, supported by the King Abdullah and by all the ministry that we are working with. Last month, I guess we spoke here about the family issue court system, the huge conference that we had. That's what we look for. We look at a solution. It's not our job in the Ministry of Justice to look for every individuals who really in jeopardized situation and go and change their life. But we could, when the cases reach us in our court system, we have what we call the social work offices in those court system. Those social work offices, represent social work programs in the Ministry of Justice, where we have family counselors, we have also religious counselor, we have individuals who try to mediate the situation. Mediating process is accepted in different countries, and it's a kind of program that's really trying to implement we are trying to implement these programs in Saudi Arabia. So I guess it's not our job as the Minister of Justice, but the Ministry of Justice, the Ministry of Social Affairs, by those kind of awareness programs. Your program right now could
Kind of awareness, I think.
could have a message for individuals who are watching us right now, and they probably thinking about separating today or tomorrow. So look for your kids, look for the effect on you and others. I know your situation, I know you have problems, I know you don't like your spouse, but just think twice about what kind of thing that could you bring to your kids when you separate from your wife or you separate from your husband. So I think this is kind of program that in Saudi Arabia we try to face this problem. And by the way, we have also Mashru' Ibn Baz project for marriage individuals. So this project monitor any couples who get married for 5 years. So for example, when they get married this year, I monitor those couples every year, and I go and ask about their situation. If they are really having some issue, I could just go immediately and try to work it out, helping them. So after 5 years, we expect that the divorce will be less, because the statistics shows that the divorce, around 60% to 80% of the divorce are happening in 3 years, in the first 3 years.
You mentioned before that you know, sir, about the statistics and the number of percent of divorce in the Saudi community according after 1 year of marriage. I think it's a very big number to be divorced after 1 year, and I think there is no actions or gonna be one kid or two more to have a problem. From your point of view, how it can be easy to take the decision of the divorce after 1 year, especially, I think this, they haven't any strong or forced reasons to take such this decision. As a family therapist, tell us about the reasons.
Sure. First of all, we know that there is statistic, I just mentioned it, does not support what they call the preparation marriage programs. Although we are really for it. It's been seen in Malaysia and France and some part of Saudi Arabia. For example, when you prepare individuals for marriage for 1 week, for example, like giving them some courses about how do you understand women, how do you understand men, when you will have to have a birth of your first child, those issues very important. Although it's still the culture itself that's really affects individuals. For example, in my family, I think nobody talked to me about marriage until I just reached almost 26 or 27. And at that time, I talked to my friend, because it's really rarely that your parents sometimes comes to you and frankly speak about it. You know, what are you going to go through it, and how do you solve those problems? What do you expect from marriage? Some people think marriage is just go and sleep and go. That's not true. Marriage think just my wife will obey me all the time. There is no wife will confront me and have different issue.
Most of the men wants to all the women to obey them and tell them yes all the time.
Well, this is your view. I'm sorry, but it's probably true.
No, it's the view of all the women. Not
Anyway, probably Arab men. So anyway, so well, this is from a culture. So I
one of the reasons, I think.
One of the reasons that's exactly. You have to obey me no matter what, because I'm the individuals. Although sometimes you are not the right decision makers. For example, your wife has a really wisdom when she looks at the situation, but still I'm the man. And although I expect your view to be true, I'm men, and my view all the time is right.
And also most of the time the men have not more knowledge or awareness about the responsibility that he have now. That he have a home and have a wife, and he will have a kids.
The new generation, I would agree with you, because they're still living in the what they call the dress of their mothers. For example, when you expect someone in 26 or 27, and sometimes his wife ask him, let's just go to travel abroad. He said, okay, let me ask my mother. This is a really huge situation, because they're still connected to their mother. They're not decision makers. 26 individual who are 26 right now is different than individual who was 26 20 years ago. We have to understand the fact that our kids are still kids until they reach almost.
I know the reason, doctor. Because the men until now, the father and or the parents in general give the man the home, the car, and the opportunity of the work. What is the efforts he do in his life to have a wife and a home. So the decision of the divorce, it can't be so easy for him.
And sometimes he look at the situation of marriage. This is where the programs comes. What you're referring to is dependency on his mother and his wife and his mother. Of course, I would agree with you. Sometimes the kids are depending on their father and mother. They provide them with everything, and all of a sudden they just withdraw, and he just get his job, then he cannot do anything. And this is where the wife comes and say, let's just make a decision, and he cannot do it because he's not capable of. So this is what you're referring to as dependency. This is a huge problem in the new generation, what they call the fourth generation of our community here in Saudi Arabia or in Arab world. They're still, that's social networking, all the stuff, they're still looking at the kids. Another thing is the responsibility, as you said. It's very important to understand that we have to take care of that. I'm responsible for my family. You found now a wife who joining the job force. She making money. She goes from 7 to 4. She is having some freedom in her life. The country give her some chance to an opportunity to compete with the individuals. And I'll just give you a statistic. Hafiz, which reached almost 1,200,000 individuals. 86 of them are female, and almost 82 having a bachelor. Minimum of bachelor, not to just mention magister, master, and PhD. When you compare them to male who are joining the job force, they almost the number of who are getting a bachelor degree almost 35 to 45. So what you're referring to here in Saudi Arabia, that's we have our girls and women are more educated, waiting for their opportunity. And just expect them to join the workforce. They have a challenge to compete with us male. But men still does not accept the fact that I'm the man and I should be the one who make the decision. He's just still for himself with the male influence, not the life influence. So this is what brings them. Another things I would mention for the couple who getting married easily. I think Gutman, who's one of the well-known, almost the most influence, the most live individuals who influence family therapy in the world. I attended the conference back in 2012 in Vancouver. He mentioned one thing. He said 89% of couples who comes to his clinic in the past 35 years getting in divorce because of situation that really does not have anything with their real problems. For example, I'm having a really huge problem with my wife about spending, for example. But sometimes it's happened that we get divorced because she doesn't make a tea for me that time, or she does not follow my order that time. And we just get in the situation, and it's a huge situation, that we end up in divorce. So he said, unfortunately, 89% of individuals who have been in divorce, we're taking the divorce decision based on reason that's really inferior to their huge reason.
Of course. Dr. Nasser, I want to ask you about, do you suggest a certain age to the men to be married? To know more about life, to know the meaning of responsibility, to know more about his duties again towards his family? Unfortunately,
statistic and research does not support anything of age influence on decision making or when you make a decision. For example, you found 14 years old who just really guy who's really, I'm just giving an example, let's just 18 years, 20 years, who really make decision better than 40 years old individuals. So it's not by the age, but I would say, this is like general rules. When you're ready, and I know it's vague word, but when you're ready, I mean emotionally, economically, family, of course, job. You're just thinking that you really need a couple individuals in your life. Just go for it. But unfortunately, like I think there are statistics shows that 30 to 40% of people who get married in this community, in the Saudi community, were taking the decision based on their parents' decision. So my parents forced me to get married, and this is no choice. You have to get married. No way.
I give you all things. Choose.
It's a culture. there is no way to be a bachelor.
Yeah.
There is people will look for you differently.
Mhm.
Of course, I would be. It's not okay, but it's not my choice for female to be a bachelor because nobody comes to get married from her. But for a male, no, there is no way. You have to get in divorce. You have to get in the marriage, no matter what, because you satisfy your parents, and sometimes they complain and they, just having those words against you all the time. Any situation, why do you need married? We need to see your kids, please, please. So he just go and do it, and without thinking about it, without just really, taking the decision seriously.
To all the youth, I think the decision to be married is very important and difficult. So if you have the knowledge or the ability to know yourself and you have no information or knowledge about marriage, what about the lessons of to drive a life? Dr. Nasser, you tell us before about the lessons of to drive the life or to drive the marriage life, something like this, and then you
marriage driving license. Yes, this is where you prepare.
Yes, help you to take the decision of marriage and to know more about how you deal or you manage the life after marriage. So let's see this short report and we come immediately to complete our discussion for today. Let's see.
Does it matter to our society that most children from broken or dysfunctional homes report lonelier, less protected, and more stress-filled childhoods? Statistics show that these children have more problems with addictions, anger, and self-esteem. What happens in your marriage today impacts your children and generations to come.
I have to travel 4 or 5 hours to see my daddy. I wish whenever I went to my daddy's house, my mommy can come with me. And sometimes I see my mom and sometimes I see my daddy, and sometimes I stay with my mama. Just depends. How come y'all and mommy can't be together? He says, you're just a little too young to know. It's just kind of sad, but I just had to live with it. It was the only way I had to do. It just breaks my heart, and it just feels really sad. And no kids ever like it. When I get married, I'm always going to stay together and never get divorced. And I'm always going to love my family.
Now is the time for change.
Welcome back, our viewers and sharing screen today. Very important topic: the effect on divorce, the effect of divorce on our children. I think very important to know more how to manage this relationship. Dr. Nasser, we speak before about many points. What about the project of Mawadda House you mentioned to me before? And I think it's a very important project to help the parents toward their duties, toward their families.
Sure. As I mentioned, that Mawadda is a charitable organization that's founded in almost 2 years or 3 years ago. But it has achieved several projects. I say huge projects. One of them, they comes with rigorous research to limit or prevent the divorce rate in Saudi Arabia and its influence on other issue in their couples who are already in a divorce situation. Mawadda is run by our President Mawadda, Amira Sara bint Msaad. She really worked very hard, day and night. Dr. Mardir Bardisi, Ustad Anwar Sharif, all those individuals really work hard. They're really very organized charitable organization that's really know what to do, and they have really achieved their project quickly. Last week we had a Mawadda workshop to come up with what they called House of Mawadda. They're thinking there is effect on the divorce on children. There is no matter what. Unfortunately, not only the effect of divorce, also the process of how the couple in divorce situation see their kids. What's happening right now, and you didn't believe it, and I'm sorry to say it, the exchange for those kids now in police department in Saudi Arabia. Unfortunately, not most of them, let's say 40 to 60%. So when I fighting with my wife, we agree, the only place that we agree to exchange our kids to see them in the weekend is the police department. What do you think of a policeman go to the wife and bring the kids and have him from his hand, and the kids is crying? They just pull him up from his mother, from the car, and go and give it to his father in different car in front of the situation department. And I see them, and I watch them, and the people just speak frankly in that workshop. There is representative from the police department, from the Ministry of Justice, where representatives, from media, from social affairs, all those people agree.
Who was the reason of all this? The men, of course. Who make all these situations?
No. I'm not blaming. I'm sorry. I'm not blaming individuals who make this situation. Sometimes the wife said, "You have to give me the kids. You will not see them. Not go to the
decision of divorce, Dr. Nasser, in the hand of the man. If he controls the boat of the life and he takes the decision in the truly time, what is the problem?
I'm sorry. I know you're a woman and you're looking for the emotional stuff of this. I understand that, but we have to, of course, but we have to look at the situation seriously. I'm not blaming individuals. Of course, 60% we should blame the men, 40% from the women. Anyway. But just thinking about it, because the wife said, "This is my kids, and you will not see them." Sometimes there is a wife who really say, "We get in divorce. I'm angry at you. There is no way to see your kids." How can he see his kids? He have to go to the police department and just file a suitcase, and he just come to the court, and the court will approve. You will have your kids 48 hours every weekend, and there is nothing with that. So this is my kids. And sometimes the wife, the man, get his kids and go to the police department to exchange this with his wife. Anyway, this is not the issue. The issue, of course, is affecting every individuals. We don't like it.
And affecting the kids, of course.
We don't like it. Mawadda doesn't like it. Everybody who were in the workshop agree that this is really disadvantage situation that's for those kids and for their future.
So what is the solution?
Okay, what's the solution for Mawadda? Mawadda comes with the idea. And we brought Rashid al-Dosri from Qatar. They have Markaz al-Ri'aya al-Walidiyya, parent caring program. They have what they call a house. It consists of many rooms, playing room, kitchen, TVs, all the stuff. Any kids who are being in divorce situation, or every parent, they have to agree in the court system in front of the judge that we will agree that we will exchange our kids in this house in Doha, in Qatar. So we try to, here in Mawadda, they try to implement and build that same idea in Saudi Arabia. They want, if anyone who are in divorce situation has to agree when it comes to ru'ya, when it comes to watching your kids or having your kids in the weekend, to go and exchange this in Mawadda house. Mawadda will have, of course, a social workers, psychologist, psychiatrist, special education, educators, all the people who are really up to date in their knowledge, up to date in their willingness to help. They will be in those houses. And what they're gonna do, the father comes to the front house and leave his kids, and will be grabbed by individuals who are really capable of knowing how to touch their emotion, knowing how to care for them, knowing how to talk to them, not like policemen, of course. Then the wife will come to the other doors, and she will have her kids without seeing each other, without having those police department to exchange. Even that, this house will have a counseling services where you counsel those kids. Sometimes they have a really social and psychological problems. So those social workers will know those kids' problems, and they will stay with them, will talk to them, will try to help them to get out of their problems. So this is what the house, everybody who was in the workshop will really agree about the objective of this house. So this is just normally what happened. We could just go on and happening in that workshop if we want.
To all our viewers, to know more about Mawadda organization, it's an organization about how to the divorce prevention and how to prevent the decision of divorce before taking this decision. I think it's very important, vital organization. I'm so proud of you. My regards to all the leaders of Mawadda in Saudi Arabia, and about the project of the house to help the parents that be divorced. I think very important decision, and thank you for all of you, of course. Dr. Nasser, about the parent that take the decision of divorce, how they tell their children that they be divorced?
Sure, that's very important.
What is the conversation or the speech will be, and how can we use the words to tell them?
Very interesting. By the way, Mawadda has a website. If anyone wants to go, mawadda.org, so they can just type it in Google or Google it. They will find it. Mawadda.org .sa. They can go and view all their project and future project. So back to your question, I would go what they call it in this workshop a positive divorce. This is what really try to implement in our community, in our Saudi. I wish everybody who watching, of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He accept the fact that the divorce is happening in our society, He said it's أبغض الحلال الطلاق. I think that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He doesn't like it, just divorce.
Yeah. But
so
sometimes it's people.
But sometimes it's situation. It's a solution, by the way. We found it. We found people who get divorced from someone and go to join another one. They really have a healthy life.
Yeah.
So it's not the divorce all the time. We look for the bad side of divorce. Of course, the divorce, we all against it, but it's sometimes a solution, and we have to look for that. Comes from the solution what they call the positive divorce process, where you go to the counselors with your wife and you said, okay, we agree that we are separating. There is no way for us to live. What do you think we to do? So there is many process, the counselors, the family therapists, all those people whom I work. I think it's positive divorce will help both couples and kids as well. The positive divorce process include you talk to couples for a 3-4 session, for example. You comes with the agreement and written agreement without just going to the court, without fighting. Okay, I don't like you, you don't like me, we don't like to, of course we love each other probably, but it comes to the situation when we need to be separated. Of course we are not selfish. That situation includes some kids, so let's just talk about them.
Okay.
So what do you think? How do we manage it? How many days do you need the kids to be with you? How many days they need to be me? When you get married, should you have your kids or should you give it to your mother? When I'm married as a man, should I watch my kids with my wife or myself? Who gonna pay for the kids? Who gonna pay for their school? How are we gonna help them to understand the situation? All those sort of process need to be talked about it, need to be written, need to be discussed in this situation. It's not just you talk to your couples. There is no way they will talk positively. You have to have mediators. You have to have individuals. I think the individuals in for example, UK and United States and other countries, what they call family therapists. When we have a clinic, they will come to you and they said, we're not looking for a solution. We're looking for a solution, a positive divorce process. Okay, I would try to help them, and I would accept the fact that really they think about the process of divorce until they make the decision.
So from your point of view, what is the way of it's okay to our kids to tell them about the divorce? Until now we don't know the special answer.
Of course, I would say you have to tell your kids no matter what. The kids understand from the age of 7 above. You have to talk to them like adults.
Speak to them and tell them everything.
Okay, my honey, you understand that situation. There's sometimes you don't like your friends, and sometimes you like your friends. When you don't like your friends, sometimes you want to go out of this relationship, right? Yes, and just talk about them. And this is what happened to my relationship with your mother. You will not be affected. We will happy to be with you all the time, but we are coming to the situation where we like to be each other. Like you're in your kids' school, sometimes you like Nasser, sometimes you don't like Sarah, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes you talk to their kids, from the top of their view.
Yeah.
Don't just embed the situation in your heart
Yeah.
and they said, don't talk about it. You are not adult enough to
So speak
understand.
to their kids. So what about the question that the mother or the father asks to their kids? You love to be with me or with him?
I don't like it. You don't have to say it. Of course, I would agree that's like in other countries. The kids need to be there with their mother because it's very emotionally connected to the kids. There is no way. Of course, sometimes the mother probably having some mental illness, some problems. You could just talk about someone. You could just give to the kids to her mother, for example.
But about the healthy answer, the healthy for the kids to be with the mother or the father, according to
Of course, for the mother. Of
for
course.
the mother. Yeah.
I think Rasul said, "Man حق الناس برعايتك." Who are the most individual who care
Because
for
the
you?
mother
The mother 3 times.
Of
So
course. The age of the children, it makes a difference in the divorce situation.
as I said, the younger the kids, the more difficult it is.
Yes,
is
but if
to
they
get.
are in 20 or 25,
No, that's different. I think when they reach the age of 18, 20, they're different. They just understand the fact. But I would go to a very important situation where you fight with those issues in front of those kids. We will separate it. I don't like you. We have to go to the court. This is what's really affect the kids. So when you have those issues being discussed in front of the kids, this is what I try to give the message for everybody watching us right now. Don't fight in front of your kids. Try to just in closed doors.
if they take the decision of divorce or not. in
Of
general.
course, but for example, you want to ask me, who will take the first news for the kids, the mother or father? Of course, the mother. But I would say
The mother speak at first.
it's because she speak more emotional. But statistics shows that there no difference. Although the most close individuals for the kids, for example, sometimes the father is more close to his girl,
Yeah.
so he just go and talk to his girl about the situation.
Yeah.
Of course, you are adult enough to know about the issue, and we are thinking about separating. Don't cry. We'll see each other. We'll support each other. But I have to see my life with different individual, not your mother. Of course, I still have a very respectful. Respect to the I'm very respectful for your mother, but I'm really don't like to be along with her. And sometimes the mother sometimes comes to you understand your father. I love him, I like him, I respect him, but it's not the way that I'm very satisfied with being with him. So, and also you have to talk it gradually. For example, if you're thinking about divorce next year, for example, you find the situation is very difficult, try to just grab the situation
The
very
decision of
easily.
divorce it can be taken from 2 years and it be
Sometimes, yes.
not immediately.
I'm talking about the process of relationship.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of just getting married and 5 years, and then my wife we're fighting every day. We're thinking about separating so many times. I'm thinking I think we probably next year will not be along with each other. So we'll just make a positive divorce.
Yeah.
Not to come to the issue where we fight and we take the decision. Of course, as I said, 80% will be situational, but it's still in Islam we have 3 times. Sometimes you make a divorce and you just go back. Second time you go divorce, you go back.
Opportunities.
Unfortunately, not like other country where they just make a divorce. That's
Of
it.
course. To all our viewers, I invite all mothers and fathers to preserve the relationship of marriage, and I think to be more respectful before and after divorce. Let's see the short report and we can come back to Dr. Nasser. Very important. Don't move.
Really hard.
It's like a complete mystery to me. Like half of my life is like disappeared. Like I don't know what happened.
As stressful as divorce can be for adults, it can be even more overwhelming for children who didn't choose the situation and have no power to alter it.
Me and my brother, we had this staircase that leads right up to the living room, and we would just sit there and watch them from around the corner when they were yelling at each other.
It didn't feel good at all. And I asked her where we were going, and she didn't tell me.
The DVD explores, from the kids' point of view, the three major ways parents influence their children for better or worse, and how parents can support healthy adjustment.
It's really painful in the heart, and like it'll hurt for a little while.
I feel like divorce is a two-sided coin, and on one side it's very negative and very harmful and hurtful, and on the other side, though, I feel like it's made me a stronger person.
What parents need to know from kids about divorce concludes with practical do's and don'ts, the rules that kids would write for their parents. Watch, listen, and learn from the real experts on children in divorce, the kids themselves.
Welcome back, our viewers, and sharing is caring. Today we speak about how the divorce be affected towards our kids with Dr. Nasser Aloud, and we speak about the organization and its effect and its role against, or sorry, towards the Saudi community. Especially, it's a kind of very important experience from Qatar, and we have the last week very important symposium or conference about, or workshop, sorry, about the divorce and its effect on our kids, and about the very important solution, how that be the solution of how we can take the kids from the mother or the father, and to be more sensitivity and more easy. What about the recommendations of this workshop, Dr. Nasser?
As I said, the workshop was held in last Monday. It was from 10 to 2 o'clock. So we had speakers from psychiatrists, from psychologists, from the Ministry of Justice, the Ministry of Higher Education, the Ministry of Education. So all those people came from with ideas. They look for the situation on how to really find the best answer for that. We got most of the recommendations that we came up with was, of course, there is agreement between all the people who were in this workshop to implement this house, what they call the house for divorce kids who are in divorce situation. Another recommendation was the process of making connection with the Ministry of Justice. Of course, you know, the individuals who really make the final say about the certification of divorce is the Ministry of Justice. The judge has to issue a statement that the divorce happened and the kids need to be seen. That's it, in that time, and by this parents in this place. So of course we agree that we need to talk. I'm representing the Minister of Justice. We agree that all the government, all the judge will be ordered, will be suggested to ask for all the situation to be seen in the house if it's funded. We also agree that we need to have more houses. As I said, last year we had almost 80 kids within divorce situation. So one house, 3, 4, 10 in Riyadh, Jeddah, Dammam, Abad City. So we need to we need to have more houses. Alhamdulillah, we have a businessman who really said, I'm supporting to build many houses, but just give me the idea and I will implement it at that meeting. We agree we have to come up with a process. What's the process, for example, from A to Z? For example, if I get in a situation, what's the first I do? What's the second? What's the third? And what if any issue comes up with those kids? Will I be responsible? You have to have ethical rules. You have to have all those things. Also, we have to have the media. Of course, there is no way without the media, such as these programs and newspaper.
Of course.
So we need to have an awareness. Of course, I would have an excellent houses, but you know what the situation? Maybe the parents will reject the idea to exchange these kids in this house.
You have to make them.
We have to prepare them, so we have to influence them. We have to work, as I said, with the Minister of Justice. We have a social workers office in the court system. So, we just work on that. Lastly, I guess they come up with the idea that, for example, we could have a conference or a workshop to just for the professionals to train them in this process. Of course, it cannot be given to any individuals. You're working with the very sensitive individuals, very sensitive kids about the situation. So don't expect kids in divorce situation to be happy and have a healthy life. Of course, they will have many issues. So who will work best for them is just to work for the best of interest of those kids.
Yeah.
So this is what the most things. All the people who were in the meeting, thanks Prince Sarah bint Abdulaziz, Ustad Nawal Sharif, all the people in Muadda for this meeting. It was an excellent gathering from all those professionals. And they agreed that we will have another workshop to come up with the idea, because they collect all their views. They will review them, they will send them back to us, then we'll come next time to probably discuss them in very straightforward way.
And from sharing screen, we invite all the businessmen to help Mawadda in achieving their dreams, to help society and the families, and of course their kids. Dr. Nasser, you are a family therapist and a professional and professor in social works, and also in a consultant in the Ministry of Justice. What is the difference duties and supports you give in these two fields?
What I would...
as a professor in social work, as a consultant in the Ministry of Justice.
What should I do?
Yeah.
Of course not me. I'm just filling up with this all. My task is out to be reached, because I'm just working in different places, different projects. But I wish we would have volunteers, we would have individuals. I'm expecting more social workers to be educated in this process. At Imam University, we will have the first diploma in social work in the course system. This is like 1-year programs, devoted all those courses to how to work in those course systems. Of course, lawyers and family services all need to be educated about the rules, not only the rules as to make decision, also the rules in Sharia. What about Habana, the custody? Who take it? How long? How much? Who make decision? So there's many things that need to be educated, not only general social workers. Of course, psychologists need to be also educated. So we'll have this diploma, I guess. So this is the first step. Secondly, we will have a research in this process. Of course, I cannot talk as a professional in this programs or other programs without having numbers in front of me. So research and study, university centers, and by the way, we have a center for women study at Prince Noura University. We have a family chair of family studies at King Saud University. So we have a lot of projects, alhamdulillah, in this country in regard to the family issue.
Yes. What is the role of the professionals or professors in social work towards their families, the families that be divorced? And please improve.
Sure. Of course, the roles general, but they are professional. They have ethical. They have standard practice programs. They know how to deal with those kids. They need to know how to deal with them. Need to how to help them to release their emotion. Need to have to make the situation less effective in those kids.
Your advice to all the families in general?
Think about who behind the decision you made. So just think about twice. So when you make a decision of divorce, don't think about yourself. Think about your people around you.
But important advice. Thank you, Dr. Nasser Aloud, Professor in Clinical Social Work at Imam University and family therapist. Happy to be with us usually. And to all our viewers, thank you for joining us. We'll meet again next Tuesday, inshallah. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.